Looks like some issue with the network. Am I audible?
Yeah, welcome.
Okay. So I was on page number 45, and the paragraph
You
was some people want to buy a new car for the warranty.
let's bring it on.
Yeah. Some people want to buy a new car for the warranty. If you lose $17,000 of a value over 4 years, on average, you have paid too much for a warranty. You could have completely rebuilt the car twice for $17,000. Also, keep in mind that most manufacturers' warranty will still cover you when buying a slightly used cars. Of course, when you begin your total money makeover, you may have an old beater, but the goal is to avoid the temptation of the 0% interest myth and get into quality used cars. Still want to buy a new car? Sure, they look great, smell great, and drive great, but the month after month and year after year payment definitely don't feel great. Myth: you should get a credit card to build your credit. Truth: you won't use credit with your totally money makeover, except maybe for a mortgage, and you don't need a credit card for that. The best myth is build your credit myth. Bankers, car dealers, and unknowledgeable mortgage lender have told America for years to build your credit. This myth means we have to get debt so we can get more debt, because debt is how we get stuff. Those of us who have had total money makeover have found that cash buys stuff better than debt. But if I were selling debt as a banker is, I would tell you that get debt to get more debt. This is, however, a myth. Yes, you will need to build your credit by borrowing and repaying debt in timely fashion if you want to live a life of credit cards, student loans, and car payment. Not me. The one question we must answer is, how do I get a home mortgage? Later, I will introduce you to 100% down plan, or if you must, how to settle for a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. But if you want that 15-year fixed rate with a payment that is no more than 25% of your take home pay, so I won't yell about it and don't you need credit. No, you can get a mortgage if you have lived right. You will need to find a mortgage company that does actual underwriting. That means they are professional enough to process the details of your life instead of using only a FICO score and CIBIL score in India. You can get a mortgage if you have lived right. Let me define. I'll lived right. You can qualify for conventional 15-year fixed rate loan if you have paid your landlord early or time for 2 years. You have been on the same career field for 2 years. You have a good down payment, which is more than nothing down. You have no other credit, good or bad. You are not trying to take too big a loan. A payment that totals 25% of your take home pay is conservative and will help you qualify. FICO score is a ILA debt score. According to FICO website, your FICO score is determined by 35% debt payment history, 30% debt levels, 15% length of pay debt, 10% new debt, 10% new type of debt. So if you quit borrowing money, you will lose your FICO score. It is not a score that says you are winning with money or that you have $1,000,000. It mathematically says you love debt. Please don't brag about your FICO score. That makes you look like you love playing kissy face with some bank dumb. So can you get a mortgage without a FICO score? Many mortgage companies have gotten so lazy that FICO is the only lending they do. Others simply don't know how to write a loan without a score. But as of this writing, you can still get a mortgage with zero score. You don't want to have a low score. It is best to have a high one or none at all. My personal score, by the way, is zero because I haven't borrowed any money in decades. Myth: you need a credit card to rent a car, check into hotel, or buy online. Truth: a debit card will do that. Visa debit card or other check cards that are connected to your check-in account give you the ability to do virtually anything a credit card will do. I carry a debit card on my personal account and one on my business and do not have one credit card. Of course, you must have money before you can buy something with debit card. But paying for things with money you have now is part of your total money makeover. Some rental car places don't take debit cards, but most do. Even enough, most will take the debit card. You need to check with the specific rental location in advance. I buy things online and stay in hotel using my debit card all the time. In fact, I travel all over the nation several times a year, speaking and doing appearances, and my debit card allows me to access to the best things life has to offer with no debt. Remember, there is one thing that the debit card won't do: get you into debt. Myth: the debit card has more risk than a credit card. Truth: no. Some of you were concerned when I mentioned buying things online and reserving hotel with a debit card. The perception is that it's riskier to conduct that kind of business with debit card. Suppose financial experts have spread this myth to the point that it is virtually urban legend. The fact is, Visa's regulation require the card issuing bank to afford the debit card the exact same protection in cases of theft or fraud. If you have any doubt, read the liability information of Visa's own website. I contacted Visa directly, and they sent this statement. Visa's zero liability policy covers all Visa credit and debit card transaction processed over the Visa network. Visa extends the same protection and benefit to all the debit card as it does to credit cards, including the ability for the credit card issuers to resolve merchant disputes on the card holder's behalf if goods were defective or were not received, you were overcharged, or for other reasons. But remember, in order to get a full protection, be sure to run your card as a credit transaction, not using your PIN. That's what I do. Myth: if you pay off your credit card every month, you get you get the free use of someone else's money. Truth: card track says that 60% of people don't pay off their credit cards every month. As I said, when you play with snakes, you get bitten. I have heard all the bait put out there to lure the unsuspecting into the pit. A free hat, airline miles, brownie points back, free use of someone else's money, a discount at the register, the list goes on to get you a sign up for a credit card. Have you ever asked why they work so hard to get you involved? The answer is that you lose and they win. When you play with snakes, you get bitten. You won't wear the hat, and according to MSNBC.com, 90% of the airline miles are never redeemed. Next time you are in the store that gave you a discount for signing up a card, you will have forgotten your cash. You'll use the card. And the cycle begins. Maybe you think, I pay mine off, so I am using their money. I am winning. Wrong again. Study of credit card use at McDonald's found that people use spent 47% more when using credit card instead of cash. It hurts when you spend cash, therefore you spend less. The big question is, what do millionaires do? They don't get rich with free hats, brownie points, and airline miles and the use of someone else's money. What do broke people do? They use credit cards. An American Bankruptcy Institute study of bankruptcy filers revealed that 69% of the filers say credit card debt caused by bankruptcy. Broke people use credit cards. Rich people don't. I rest my case. And I would like to stop and pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrish, for that wonderful reading. I really enjoyed it. There is some good wisdom there. And I'm going to take this story by Alan and Lonnie Cliff. And then we're going to conclude our session. There are some few myths left. I think we can cover it in our next Thursday session. And here's the story by Alan, who is age 48 years, and Lonnie Cliff, 47. Both are into the IT business. Before getting on board with Dave's plan, I was so stressed with the work and our financial situation that I ended up in the hospital with chest pains. My wife and I were making very good money in San Francisco Bay Area, having nothing to show for lives under constant pressures. For years, we had desired to move closer to our children and grandchildren, parents, and siblings. However, the debt we carried would not allow us to move to a possibly lower paying situation. By the time we found the Dave Ramsey show on our daily long commutes to work, we were 95K in debt. It took a long for us to realize that he spoke truth laced with a strong dose of common sense. We destroyed the credit cards and set up a plan to attack following the baby steps as outlined in Total Money Makeover. We paid off all customer debts and cards with 18 months, saved over 6 months of emergency funds, and had a plan to pay off the house within 7 years. A funny thing happened. Once we got rid of all that customer debt, the stressful jobs we were no longer a financial necessity. We didn't feel so much pressure on our lives either, and for the first time we could see a very bright lights as we came out of the tunnel. Through Dave, God answered our prayers and allowed us to see clearly how we could move closer to our family. We are now totally debt free, including our home. We see family weekly and get take part in all those wonderful events we had missed over the years. We are still saving 15% of our income and give with joy to church and charities in hopes that they can repay those blessings we have received and continue to receive. We tell everyone who will listen to us about Dave and the great gift of financial peace. Getting rid of our credit cards and eliminating our outstanding debt on those cards freed us up to a point financially where we could take a pay cut and focus more on the thing that really matters. My wife and I were very happy before. Now we feel true joy in our lives. That was a story by Alan and Lonnie Clough. And that concludes our reading part of the meeting today. And then we have opened the floors for the sharing.
Yep, so I would like to share. So it was another interesting read with bit of finances. Yes, I have thought about it that bankers are actually using your money to create replicas of your money to lend it forward and create a imaginary value to their institute. That's why we think, okay, it is not actually $100 that we have put in the banking institution, but they have created $1,000 out of your $100 or maybe more than that by just lending it forward, and they only keep some part of your cash or your liability for them, that is our cash on their end, and the world is running on credits. That is the imaginary situation created by the banking institution. That's why they are so much in profits nowadays. And credit card is another, you can say, the tool to create this to work further. I am using credit card for past like from 2012 until today, and I have been paying it on the regular basis. I think it is a very you can say the necessary evil that you can use it, but if you are not timely paying it, then you can put in debt, and that debt is having 42% of interest rate. So you need to have the timely, you get a 45 days grace period for your credit card, and then you can pay. If you are paying it timely, then you can use it to some good extent, but it does create a habit and an addiction of using your credit card every time you are on shopping on any e-commerce website, Flipkart, Amazon, anything. And it does not, as the author beautifully explains, that when you are buying with credit card, you are ought to buy more than when you are buying with your cash or your debit card, because that time you think, okay, I just have this much cash in my bank account or my wallet right now, so I will not purchase more than this. But for credit card, we feel like, okay, it's not my money, I'm using someone else's money, I can buy more right now. So, yep, that is true. The author very beautifully explains that the myth created around this, even this score, the CIBIL score in Indian markets, that is being used as a tool, or you can say a foxpath to create a dummy image for the people that, okay, you have to have a good CIBIL score to get a more debt. So you have to be in debt to get more debt. So this is another thing that we can avoid and work upon in a total money maker. So I'm just looking forward to read more about it, about more myths and the truths and the explanation by the author. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Amrish. Very well said. This is, I've gifted this book to near and dear ones. I personally read this book 5 years ago, and I made some fundamental changes at that point of time. And those fundamental changes were so strong, they were so life altering, that I'm really glad, I'm really thankful that today that God has given me the ability to read and write. God has given me the ability to alter my life by my company, by changing my association with the kind of a people. I can right now spend 2 hours easily paying my money, watching in a multiplex and eating popcorns and cold drinks, increasing my weight and indulging my senses. No nonsense today. I myself, I'm on a journey for self-improvement, self-empowerment, and that is journey which is makes me fearless, relentless, and selfless. And the Total Money Makeover, this is the book that everybody should read once. And with those fundamental changes which I did in my beginning 5 years, are so much like cleaning the pebbles and the dust from my financial garden. The first thing it did was to remove all the things which were creating noise and echo in my life, and the credit card was the one most thing. I had 4 credit cards, and I was proud to have number of credit card that makes my wallet fat. No, my wallet was fat, however my bank account was thin. Every time I saw the money coming in, I don't know where the money went out after the third day. Credit cards were the silent enemy, like a termite. They were eating my finances. And very well said by the author, and I identify a lot with it. It's more about the psychology of spending patterns rather than saving and spending. With a small benefit of buy first, pay later, and with a 45 days buffer, I am I am developing a habit where I can spend mindlessly. I am also reading a book called as Atomic Habits, and it says anybody who has the impulse of buying, who spend money mindlessly, should make it inconvenient, should make it unsatisfying, and should make it unattractive. So in order for me to make it inconvenient, I had to take out credit cards out of the equation completely. Rest anything else, buffer days, interest, mileage does not me, because the moment I have a credit card, it is automatic. I had to make less convenient. And now this is the beauty of it. Now I want to buy something, I don't go online. I take an idea how it is available online and I go to the market. It feels really good when I go with the market with a shopping list. I'm a person who is called myself as a MIA, and MIT is most important task. I complete first. I'm a person who is called myself as a MIA and MIT. MIA means man in action, and MIT is most important task. I complete first. And my most important task, in order to complete my important task, like for a shopping list, I need to know beforehand that I need to buy it, then I have to go to the market. Not like I want to buy it, I kind of want it, I may want it, and my kind, and my would, and my could let me spend my money mindlessly using the credit card, because it makes so convenient, so convenient. Somebody is giving 10% discount, somebody is giving sales, somebody is doing this, and somebody is doing that. No, I'm ready to pay extra money in case you take net banking. I'm ready to pay more money in take you take a checkbook. I have only a checkbook with me. I don't even have a debit card, because debit card taking money from my account directly. However, when I'm swiping the plastic, I don't realize how much I'm spending. I always carry a hard cash with me, never ever a debit card. Now I've changed the philosophy of having two accounts, keeping two accounts, and one is called as an incoming account, and one is called as an outgoing account. So I have two bank accounts, and with incoming bank account, I have nothing internet banking on, no debit card. It only have a checkbooks. So whenever I have an extra money, I put it in that incoming account, and that money accumulates. I never touch that money. And an outgoing account, I never came more than 1000 euros or 500 euros or maybe 10,000 rupees, more, not more than that. So in case I have a debit card and it gets fraud, it gets hacked, i'll not be I'll not be perjured for more than 1000k, I know for sure. So I have a system. When I read this book, I developed a system. Exactly, I can write it on a flow chart where I have an incoming salary comes, and I have an outgoing account where I transfer not more than 500 euros, and I spend all my expenses from that account. I don't touch my incoming account, and I made it highly inconvenient by having no net banking, by having no debit card, only keeping a checkbook, and all my investment goes through my incoming account. Outgoing account pays bill, my outgoing account um, pays whatever cash I need. I take it out from the debit card of the outgoing account. So in a way, I even don't use any plastic money, I only keep cash. And at the start of the month, I take out for example 1000 euros in cash in several denominations, and every day I keep some money from the stash. So this is how my whole cycle is, and I really love it, really love it, because it saves me from a lot of decision making. Yeah, I only carry 10 euros or maybe 1000 rupees in my pocket. I sometimes get too much grateful and too much in compassion that I start giving money people in the temples, money people who are begging, and that is good for some time. However, too much of everything is very bad. So I've stopped doing that. I keep certain specific amount of money. I take out the money from the bank using a checkbook every month and use that money and even save from that cash as well. And the savings, first I do is whatever I get, I deduct 10% as in my incoming account, and I don't touch it. And then 90% of the money, it goes to several things, several investments, several long-term investments. So I can draw my financial garden right now in pictures, and I love it. I love it when I draw on my financial garden, right? It's really beautiful because it's really booming these days, and I'm really grateful that I can share and come with you and got to share my experiences and learn from other experiences as well, and got and become much a better person, because this book is just a starting on finances. There are 10 more books which are New York Times bestseller, which I think under this theme we should read. And this is just the starting. This is the basic book. Then there are the books that goes with the not having to go by conventions, creating your own systems, creating your own finances, creating your destiny, and the list never ends. So every day I see a book, I just like I should reread this book and this book and this book. And right now I'm reading four books in one go. I've just become a dad. My daughter will be 12 months now today, 28th of this month, and I'm reading books on child's mind and psychology. I'm reading book on money makeover. I'm reading book on atomic habits. I'm reading book. I'm reviewing the book of Seven Habits. I'm reviewing the book of Atomic Habits. Every time I'm just reading the books and constantly improving my knowledge base. So I'm really clear. I'm really grateful that I could come here and do all that I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm really love this part of me, yeah, eager to live a better life. And that is only because of you folks, yeah. Because when I do start think something alone and there's nobody near me or anybody who is watching over me, I just tend to falter away because my mind takes me to start throwing some schemes of let's because my mind is made to do things, is made to keep my body in convenient position, and my convenience is lethargy. My convenience is takes me to a whole other word which I really do not even want to think about. I get goosebumps when I fathom that kind of a useless life I've lived for last 4 5 years. God, thank you, Father, that He's blessed me to alter my life, and I'm able to see the life of my family, my society change because of the faith and action mechanism that has fit me with now is and the excitement I'm filled with that today and coming days are gonna be so exciting. I'm doing several interesting projects with different teams, with different people, and I'm really clear that I can do it, and I'm doing it right now. So I'm really happy, and I think I've taken a lot of time. Thank you, and I think I should conclude the part of sharing. And is there anything else you want to say, Amrish? I think you are on. Okay, you are on the call. So, any last 1 minute or 2 minute quick shares?
Yes, I do have. It was in 2014 when I was in Pune. I read this answer that was very beautiful. How to create your wealth. Um, you need to have two accounts. One that is your generic one, from which you are getting the salary and you are using it for many other purchases, your general thing. One has to be the one that you don't touch, you don't debit anything, you just credit into it. So that suggestion was, every time you make any purchase, be it online, be it offline, before making that purchase, you have to send some amount of it, be it 10, be it 100, be it 500, be it 1000, 5000, whatever. Some part of it you need to send it to that account that you should not touch. That will create your emergency bank, or you can say the you will not touch it anyway. You just keep it ongoing. It should be just as you share incoming account. So that reminds me of that particular answer. So I tried for it, and I tried for some time, and it worked perfectly fine. Then afterwards, it totally get out of my mind, and I didn't worked on it. Yeah. So that is all from my side today. Thank you.
700 hours. You can access the.
Your voice is not audible, Akash.
All right. Is it better? Is it better? Hello.
Yes, now much loud and clear.
Okay. The next meeting of this group is on Thursday, 1100 hours Indian Standard Time. You can access the recording of these sessions later on YouTube. Please ask me for more details. And let's conclude with the V form of the Serenity Prayer. So, the V form is WE. So, we say, God grant us the serenity, not God grant me the serenity. So let's pray for those fallen souls who are still struggling for the meaning of their life. Let's pray for those people who wants to relive their life and who have not got the message of the meetings, because I know there are millions of people outside the meeting that want this in their life. They still don't know. So let's pray for those people, that how the God has graced us today, that we can work on our self development, empowerment, and betterment, that those people who need it get the message of the meeting and of this group, and they can also change their life, that as we are doing ourselves. So it goes like this. You can follow my lead. Who kept us alive today? Our Father,
Who
grant
kept
us
us
the
alive?
serenity
Grant us the serenity
to accept the things we cannot change,
to accept the things we cannot change,
courage to change the things we can,
the courage to change the things we can,
and the wisdom to know the difference.
and the wisdom to know the difference.
Awesome. Thank you, Amrish. That was
Perfect.
very